Hi everybody, welcome to another video. So today what we're going to talk about is all the reasons why you would invest in property. There are loads of people out there, so if you were to tell your friends, your family that you're thinking about it and taking some money and investing in property, they would tell you not to do it. There are so many people who have got an opinion who are not property developers, who will try and stop you. It's not the right time. People won't pay the rent. You'll get yourself in debt. It's a really bad idea. We were faced with that ourselves when we started. We started investing in property right at the start of the sort of 2007. All property prices were crashing. And the key really for us was the fact that we were not investing in property to make capital, for it to go up in price. We were investing in property for cash flow. So if that is a strategy that you're looking at, we can show you how, regardless of the market, regardless of whether it's an upturn or a downturn, you can make property work for you. You can get cash flow. So the biggest reason we invested in property was to give ourselves an additional income week in, week out, so that we could enjoy life better. So I'll give you a couple of stories why some of our friends, colleagues, customers, they've all invested in property, and then I'll share a little bit about why we invested in property. So just to give you a flavour of some of the whys. So one of my closest friends, she worked 5 days a week. She had a little boy. She wanted to not work Fridays. It was as simple as that. She didn't want many properties. She didn't want the burden of having to manage lots of properties, but she wanted enough cash flow so she could have a slightly better quality of life and didn't have to work Fridays. And we worked through that, and we got it a solution. This lady is now decided to sell those smaller properties and is now investing in HMOs because they wanted a higher cash flow, because they've now bought a bigger house, and they've realized that property worked for them. So don't also think that your reason now has to be your long-term goal, but think short, medium and long term if you have the vision to do that. But just for the now, just think, what would a couple of £100, £500 a month extra, what would that mean to me? What would I be able to get? What would I be able to not have to do anymore that I currently do? What freedom would that give me? And have a little think about that. Another couple of our friends, they were managers in a pharmaceutical company. The pair of them had quite intense, hard-working jobs, and they wanted to retire early. So what they decided to do was create a property portfolio that was cash flowing, and that meant that they had additional income to take alongside their pensions, retire early, and because they already had investment properties abroad, they can now enjoy their time in those properties when they're not filled and when they're not making money from those. So that's worked well for them. We've got another friend who's an investment banker, worked ridiculously long hours in London, had a property portfolio that was it had good potential growth, but it didn't give him any cash flow. He decided to sell some of those properties, reinvest the equity in small cash flowing properties in Liverpool, and he was able to quit his job, move to Canada with his girlfriend and his family, and he now has a much less stressful job, because he's got that additional income, which means he doesn't have to put the hours in he did when he was working in London. We have another set of clients who we manage property for who, again, they just wanted to reduce their hours. They didn't want they didn't want to be millionaires, but what they did want was enough so that she could go part-time, and he wasn't happy in his job, and he just wanted to give himself the freedom to look for something else. And if that meant taking a lower salary but being happy, that's what he wanted to do. So your goal can be anything. Your goal could be, I just don't want to work Fridays anymore. I want to go full-time to part-time. I want to be a property millionaire. I want to have 20 properties in 2 years. Your goal is your goal. And the key is to sit down, take a little bit of time out your schedule, and think about what additional income to you every month What would that mean? Start with something like £200 a month, work up to £1,000 a month, go up to £5,000 a month. Think big and think, what would those additional levels of income mean? What could you gain? What could you leave behind? And when things get hard, when things get tough, and believe me, there will be times when you just want to throw in the towel and you'll think, why am I doing this? You need to keep those goals by the side of your bed, and you need to remember why you're doing this. And believe me, it will be worth it. But you need to remember the why. The why is the most important start. And if you get that right, you can do anything when it comes to property. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I hope that you found it useful. See you again soon.